temples can be seen throughout the villages, towns, and cities of India. A temple can be a simple structure by the side of the road or an entire complex of buildings. Regardless of its size, the Hindu temple is essentially a dwelling place for the gods. A principal deity resides at the heart of each temple, like a king or queen in their palace. Other deities, attendants, and mythical figures can also be seen as part of the temple structure. Surrounding the temple are stalls selling offerings and souvenirs such as fruit, flowers, sweets, and postcards. The atmosphere around the temple is lively and boisterous. The interior of a Hindu temple is not designed to hold large congregations. Worshippers come and go in small groups through a hallway leading to an inner sanctuary. Here, the image or symbol of the main deity is located. In an active temple, statues of the deities are covered with garlands and draped with rich fabrics. Above the sanctuary rises a central tower, often brightly painted. The shape of the tower resembles the mythical mountain home of the gods. Other features of temples include sacred bathing ponds, walled enclosures, and gateways in a variety of shapes and sizes. Here, at Madurai in southern India, the gateways tower above the temple complex and are covered with statues. Some temples are no longer in active use. At Khajuraho in central India, tourists now flock to see celebrated images of gods and loving couples adorning the exterior walls. In Konark, near the eastern coast, are the remains of one of the largest temples ever built in India. It was dedicated to the sun god Surya. The original tower no longer survives, and we can only imagine its size from the smaller buildings that still stand. The immense variety of temples throughout India is the result of local styles and preferences and centuries of architectural developments. Each attests to the artistry of countless masons and sculptors. The sculptures of deities seen in the Asian Art Museum were once part of an active Hindu temple. They adorned the exterior walls, interior spaces, entranceways, high wall niches, and inner sanctuaries.
This is the Angkor Temple Complex. It is often referred to as the Temple City and is the largest Hindu temple in the world. Angkor is a vast temple complex in Cambodia featuring the magnificent remains of several capitals of the Khmer Empire. Angkor derives from a Sanskrit word meaning holy city. Wat in Khmer means temple. It is located near the Siem Reap in northeast Cambodia, but has come to represent a whole complex of wonderful temples and stone masonry and artwork throughout the area. It is the single largest religious structure in the world and surely one of the world's wonders of art and architecture. It's within an area of 120 square miles. The ruins contain some of the most imposing monuments in the world, including about 1,000 temples, mainly Hindu and some Buddhist. The ancient city, however, had an extent some 3 times that size and was home to perhaps 750,000 people. The construction of the Angkor Wat was ordered by Indra to act as a palace for his son, Precha Ket Malia. A Chinese traveler, De Guanzhou, was believed by some that the temple was constructed in a single night by a divine architect. The Angkor Wat architects designed the temple in a quincunx formation. A quincunx is a temple blueprint in which 5 towers are assembled in an X pattern. There are Buddha images inside the temple on the pillars. The ensemble of the 5 towers were arranged in such a way that it can only be fully observed from certain angles. And they continue to ornament the monument's walls and towers.
The Meenakshi Temple is in Madura, India. It was originally dedicated to only the goddess Meenakshi, but is now dedicated to the beautiful Lord Shiva as well. It contains an inner sanctum with Meenakshi's image, a large Nataraja of the Shiva as the Lord of Dance, and is elaborately dedicated with stone carvings of scenes from mythology. There are wall paintings that depict scenes from the Purana that depict the story of the holy acts of Shiva. The temple also holds depictions and sculptures representing Vishnu, the brother of Meenakshi. The lotus pond near the Meenakshi shrine is said to be pure and where people bathe. The wedding of Shiva and Meenakshi is celebrated each year at this temple during the Chitrai festival, April through May. Overall, the Meenakshi temple reflects the Hinduism beliefs that the goddess Meenakshi and the beautiful Lord Shiva are who to worship as they are married, and Vishnu is the brother of Shiva.
The Elephanta Cave Temple is a hollowed-out cave which lies on Elephanta Island along the harbor of Bombay on the Arabian Sea. The entire structure has an area of about 60,000 square feet and is supported by natural stone pillars. The cave contains a massive 19-foot-tall statue of the god Shiva. The statue has 3 heads. The one facing east is Shiva the Destroyer, front is Brahma the Creator, and west is Vishnu the Preserver. The 3 together are known as the Trinity. The inside of the caves were painted by the original sculptors of the cave, but Portuguese control destroyed many of the paintings and support columns. Although the original builders of the temple are unknown, the British worked to reconstruct and preserve the temple in the 1970s after the marriage of Charles II and Catherine of Braganza put the temple under British control.
The Dakshineswar Kali Temple is located in Dakshineswar, India. The temple is dedicated to the goddess Kali. The temple was built in the traditional Ravaratna style. The temple is typical to Bengal architecture. The temple's height is more than 100 feet. It consists of a main temple called the Vishnu Temple. The 12 small temples are called the temples of Shiva. The Vishnu temple spirals are grooved artistically as a resemblance to the Pirhas. The main temple is 3 stories long. It houses a 21.5-inch idol of Lord Krishna and a 16-inch idol of Lord Vatna. While the temples of Shiva are all identical, they are devoted to Lord Shiva. The interior of each temple is beautifully decorated with black and white stone. Each temple houses Shiva Linga, which is made of stone as well. It was said that Rani Rashmoni, the one who had founded the temple, had a dream that she was told to build a Kali temple. She was admired by the people, and as a whole together decided to build the temple in her dream. As well as the temple itself, the building consists of an audience chamber, which is attached to a sanctum that houses the idol of the goddess Kali. Also, a huge Vat Mandir, or dancing hall, was built in front of the temple as well. Outside in the garden, there is a bayan tree, where Rama Krishna performed austerities. The name of the idol of Kali, worshipped in the temple, is Bhairava Tarini. The idol is wearing priceless jewelries and other accessories. This Kali temple is associated with Shri Ramakrishna Parahans, for he was one of the greatest religious reformers, who had attained his divine enlightenment in the temple. The Kali temple is where he had a spiritual vision and witnessed a holy glance of the goddess Kali. During the Kali Puja, many people line up to give their prayers up to the goddess Kali. During this day, the temple is beautifully decorated with flowers and lights.
The Tanala Temple is located on the coastal side of Baraban countryside, Kadiri subdistrict, and Taban regencies. It is situated about 30 kilometers on the west side of the Depensar town and about 11 kilometers on the south side of Tabanan town. Around the Tanalat temple are black and white color snakes where, according to local society, they guard the temple from bad influences. In the Tanalat, there is a main temple to worship the god in form of Dewa Baruna or Batara Segara, the sea palace. The media of worship to this god is the 5-story temple building, while the 3-story temple building in the north part of this area is purposing to worship Danghyang Nira. Because of the Tanalat's unique design, the way to get to the Tanalat is unique as well. From the beach, you can reach the temple after a 50-meter long passage through some dark washed stones and fine sand to get to the rocky island. In a small cave at the foot of the rock temple is a freshwater spring, which thus arises practically in the sea. It is considered sacred and is constantly guarded by priests. Compared to the source, it's located in the nearby cliff on the mainland near another cave, the Ularsuki. This is where the sacred snakes mentioned earlier are, which are also guarded by priests. Although highly toxic, the snakes have allegedly never bitten anyone. The temple is very close to the rice fields of Bali's most popular and best known photo opportunity. Inside the actual temple compound itself, there are tiered shrines that follow the fundamental elements of Balinese design, where the number of levels constructed are symbolic to the complexity of the faith. There are other formations within the area that indicate that the site is not only of great religious importance, but also maintains archaeological value. With its unique design and religious significance, it draws crowds of travelers who come by busload to witness the magnificent temple scene against the background of crashing waves.
Dedicated to Siva, the Kali Santher temple was built by the Pallava ruler Rajasima Pallava and was completed by his son Mahendra Pallava. Rajasima Pallava ruled Kanchi during the period from 685 AD to 705 AD. This temple is unique in its architecture. It was constructed mostly of limestone. The walls of this temple are filled with great sculptures and paintings. There are 58 small shrines situated around the main shrine. The temple lies away from the commotion of the city in a rusty suburbs. The main shrine has a 16-sided shavalinga, which is a type of sculpture made of black granite. The inner and outer walls of the temple are carved with the images of numerous gods and goddesses. These gods and goddesses are offering prayers to Atmalinga. The temple's south-facing wall has a very elegant image of Shiva in a sitting posture of peace and solitude known as Dakshinamurti, and its wall has Shiva in the form of, and the west wall has Shiva in the form of Lingobal, which is a state of emergence. This is the only temple in Kanchipuram which has retained its originality after being built by the Pallavas.